pair of state senators are suing the sitting governor for his appointment of Education Secretary Zoe Saunders. The senators are arguing Scott naming Saunders interim after the Senate voted against her violates Vermont's law and constitution. The governor's office says the senators are playing politics and distracting voters from other issues. ABC 22's Matt Holderman has more details and reaction.
It's not about politics. It's about the separation of powers.
Just one day after the Vermont legislature's veto override session ended, Progressive Senator Tanya Vyhovsky and Democratic Senator Dick McCormick went to Vermont Superior Court in Montpelier and filed a lawsuit against Governor Phil Scott and Interim Education Secretary Zoe Saunders. They argue Scott broke Vermont law and went against the state constitution by hiring Saunders at the end of April, despite the Senate voting against her. The two senators say that violates the separation of powers that gives the Senate the right to approve or deny members of a governor's cabinet.
You can't play this game of whack-a-mole. The Senate said no.
Jared Carter is one of two attorneys representing the senators in this case. He says the governor's actions raise an important question. Who has what authority under Vermont's law and constitution? He thinks the governor overstepped his authority by appointing Saunders against the Senate's wishes and thinks the court will agree.
Once the Senate has spoken, it would render the law meaningless if the governor could simply re-up the same person who was resoundingly rejected by the Senate.
Governor Scott's press secretary Amanda Wheeler responded to the lawsuit on his behalf, calling this a political stunt meant to distract Vermonters from the 14% property tax increase the legislature just approved. Wheeler wrote in a statement, quote, "This is another example of legislators focusing more on partisan political maneuvering than the hard work to help schools, kids, and taxpayers. Fortunately for Vermonters, Saunders, her team, and the governor will continue to focus on helping schools." Carter rebukes that statement, though, saying the case has nothing to do with politics, but everything to do with upholding Vermont's law and constitution.
The defendants may, try to spin this as a political, maneuver, but the reality is these are important legal questions that go to the heart of the separation of powers in Vermont.
Carter says based on the gravity of this case, he hopes the courts move quickly, but it will in all likelihood take many months until a resolution is reached. Senator Vyhovsky plans to speak at the State House Friday morning on the matter. Matt Holderman, ABC 22 News.